With the NHL trade deadline approaching, a lot of teams are going to be selling and buying, and more specifically, we're breaking down the Montreal Canadiens. What do they have to do to earn themselves a shot into the Stanley Cup Finals, maybe even win the whole thing? We welcome back Tony Marinaro, David Hurley, Pierre Evans. Great to see you guys. All right, let's talk about the trade deadline. Montreal Canadiens, up to this point, safe to say, have established themselves as a favorite in the Eastern Conference, but it's going to take a lot more than that to beat the West. What do they need to do at the trade deadline, first and foremost for you?
Well, if they're using my credit card, they're going to have to be sellers because they won't be able to buy anything because it's maxed out, right? That's because of my wife, right? No, but look, taking a look at what they did last year, where they were in the standings last year, which is pretty much where they are in the standings right now, if they keep on, at this rate between now and the end of the year. They surprised a lot of people, but they also opened a lot of eyes. There's not too many people thought this team had the intestinal fortitude to avoid elimination in Game 6 against the Boston Bruins, who had 20 points on them or whatever they had on them in the regular season, and then go into Boston and win that Game 7. They lose against the New York Rangers in Game 6. The Rangers were clearly the better team. But you think, okay, the Canadiens probably learned from that experience. The Canadiens probably got a little bit better. Carey Price wasn't there. And even though Dustin Tokarski was very good, you could just imagine it deflates a hockey team knowing that one of the best goalies in the world isn't there. And when a guy like Price was playing as good as he was before that, you never know what can happen. So having said all that, I think the Canadiens are going to be buyers, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to sway away from Marc Bergevin's plan. No. If it's going to mean getting rid of high-end prospects to get there, I don't think they're going to do that. What I think they're going to do is they're going to go for one of these players, for example, like Jaromir Jagr, at the end of his career, and
it'll still cost quite a bit,
he's going to cost something. At the end of the day, he is 42 years old, and he is in the final year of his contract, so he's a rental. He's not going to cost a lot.
No, 1.2, 1.3 as a rental.
And would anyone make more sense other than Jagr?
No,
I know you got to
as a right.
I love to see catch playing against Jagr.
He's a right winger. The Montreal Canadiens need a right winger. I also think the Canadiens can look into Zach Cashin in the Vancouver Canucks, a guy who's underperformed there, who once in Buffalo was a highly rated prospect. Now in Vancouver, having a rough time. He could come here and be that physical element that we need.
And Bergey's got that long-term vision too.
He's in year 3 of his 5-year plan. People need to forget he's in year 3. He's exceeded his expectations. It's a 5-year plan. So now he's in a crunch time. He's got to buy, and there's definitely some players on the market.
It's an interesting name, if I can, because he rolled the dice on the Dale Weiss last year, brought in a fourth-line guy who said, you know what, he can give me some good services. You have nothing to lose when you bring in a guy like that because you're not paying a big price.
And they don't have the element of surprise going for them this year. They're not going to surprise anybody.
Yeah, so they have to step that up.
They have to step that up because the teams in the West and the teams playing in the East, they're looking at them and they're expecting them.
A player I wouldn't mind the Canadiens looking at is also from the Toronto Maple Leafs on defense is Roman Polak. Would be a great addition, a little physical grit, kind of what we got last year in return.
But if you look at your back end, there's bigger priorities that need to be filled right now, especially when you go on the offensive front of the West.
You definitely need some defensive depth, though.
You're not only looking at the Eastern Conference Finals. You're looking to go all the way. If you look at the Eastern Conference Finals, you've got a great package. You can hold your own. Boston has regressed. Tampa Bay has moved forward. Islanders are scary, right? There's a couple of good teams.
You don't really have to worry about the West. You're only going to end up playing one team.
Exactly, and you have Carey Price in
but one hell of a team, though. One hell of a team.
The team waiting for you is probably a little bit better and more prepared, better prepared, been there before.
It's the NHL playoffs. You have Carey Price, and you're going into a Stanley Cup Final. If we get there, you got Carey Price. People need to relax. This guy can carry a team on his own.
Well, another guy who can carry a team on his own is Tom Brady, and he's going up against Russell Wilson on Sunday after the break. We're switching gears. We're talking some football. Stay with us. All that and more happening right here on Read Between the Lines.
Read Between the Lines is brought to you by enconfiance.ca. Find your dream home.